Hello, everyone. Real quick before we dive into today's episode, I want to remind you that I'm now offering functional lab testing within my program in full function. I am so excited. This is about to completely transform so many lives, and I cannot wait. If you have been feeling off, whether that's stubborn bloating, fatigue that won't go away, difficulty losing weight, sleep issues, acid reflux, painful periods, mood swings, whatever the case might be, functional lab testing may be exactly what you need. This goes so much deeper than any traditional, conventional blood work. It helps to uncover hidden stressors like hormone imbalances, gut dysfunction, poor detox pathways, chronic stress patterns, and more. And it really allows us to better understand how is the body functioning and how is this dysfunction potentially contributing to the way I'm experiencing life, the way I'm feeling and how I'm functioning on a day-to-day basis. So for a limited time, you can now book a free 45-minute consult to see if it's a fit. And because you are a podcast listener, I'm offering a special discount through the month of July so that you can take advantage of it at a discounted rate. All you have to do is schedule your free consult within the month of July and you will receive $150 off my coaching package. So, super excited for this offer. Mention that you came from the podcast on our call and you will immediately gain access to that discount. And we will talk all the details when we connect. Thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to supporting you. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Eat. We are on seriously borrowed time right now because Tallow is up. Okay. Yeah, I let her roam free for this episode. I have to head into work later. And so I just have too much guilt putting her in our crate, and because she's going to be spending a lot of time in her crate later, and I gave her one of those silicone lick pads which have become my best friend. I even dedicated part of this episode to talking about them because I love them. And my girl was having some plain yogurt and sweet potato puree, but I think she might have finished it. So now she'll be back running around causing havoc. So we are going to do the best we can with today's episode. But we are diving into another family dinner episode. You all know this is one of my most favorite types of episodes. If you're new here, Let's Eat Family Dinner is a monthly episode that I reserve for updates, what's going on, what's the latest, what am I loving, what am I reading, and what is new. I feel like it gives a good break from the usual episodes. Obviously, I like to share education and value and insights on all things health. Lately, it's been a lot of functional testing talk and holistic pet care talk. And I am announcing a new series moving into July during today's episode. So today is a nice reprieve from anything too heavy or educational. And let's just chit chat, dive in, and talk about what's going on. So thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the table. Let's eat. Welcome to Let's Eat. I'm your host, Emily, certified holistic health coach, functional nutrition expert, and self-proclaimed wellness enthusiast, here to meet you at the intersection of physical and mental health, the space within which we become well. This podcast is meant to explore all areas of mind and body wellness, designed to offer you the integrative knowledge, behavioral strategies, and mindset shifts necessary to uplevel your health and feel better today. We'll explore nutrition, sleep, movement, self-care and stress management, habits and routines, self-development, gut health, mental health, and more. I'm so happy that you're here. Welcome to the table. Let's eat. So, welcome back. Let's set the scene here a bit. It is early morning. This tends to be the time that I feel most inspired to work and be productive, but I love recording episodes at this time of day. I feel like it's just calm. I've had my coffee, I have my water with me. The birds are chirping. It's been super, super hot here in New Jersey the past few days. Hot as in 95 to 100 degrees. And honestly, I don't mind it at all. I feel like a lot of people are probably like, oh my God, I hate this so much. But you know what's so interesting is we spend all winter and spring long, at least in New Jersey, wanting warmer weather. And then we get the warm weather. And I get it, like maybe warmer weather, you mean 70, 80 degrees. We get the warmer weather and then we're mad about it. And so we 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 always are unhappy with what we have when at one point this is what we wanted, right? So this is such a like life lesson, I feel like. But in the context of the weather, I really love it. I love how warm the mornings are. It's so nice getting up at 6 o'clock and it being, 80 degrees. I like love that, going for walks, getting the sunshine. Yes, it's a little hot in the afternoon, but I'll take that. I'll take this over 50 degrees, over 30 degrees. I'm very, very happy with it. And it's June. It's the end of June. It's late June. We're heading into July. Like tis the season, right? So I have been loving it. Tallow has gone swimming a few times. This is her first time swimming, and there's like a little creek near my house that we walk to, and it's been a lot of fun because Lou was such a big swimmer and she loved to swim. And that's like, there's so many memories with her swimming and taking her new places to swim and how much she loved it and how happy she was. And it's also incredible exercise for dogs. Incredible. It's low impact. I mean, for humans too, while we're on it. Swimming is great. Swimming is low impact. It's, easy on your joints. So highly recommend getting swimming. I should have mentioned that in my last episode about why summer is such a powerful time to invest in your health, because you get to swim and you get to do, something that's different than maybe other times during the year. But anyways, we have been swimming and she's so cute, and it's so funny because she keeps like whimpering as she's swimming and she's not trying to get out of the water. So I'm guessing she's just like excited about it. And I'm like, are you happy? Like, are you happy? Like, that's why you're making these noises? Because like we can go if you don't like this, but you seem to like it. So I think she's just maybe like overwhelmed with excitement and she jumps in on her own. So it's really cute. So that's been a lot of fun. But anyways, today's episode, we're going to talk about some new things going on, updates on functional testing. I want to talk about the new series coming up in July. I'm also going to be hosting a giveaway. I ordered Let's Eat baseball caps and I love them. I have wanted to create, we'll call it merchandise for a long while. I did make tote bags and I ended up giving those to clients and my girlfriends and whatnot. But I'd like to dive deeper into this, not because I want to, create another business for myself necessarily, but because I like to give these things away and it's fun to me. So I made hats that say "Let's Eat," and then on them there's a couple of vegetables. I think it's a carrot. I forget what it is. A carrot, a beet, maybe something else. And it's actually from the original logo. My sister gifted me a logo maybe no longer than that. I would say 6 years ago, maybe at Christmas, for Eats by Emily, which is what my Instagram name used to be. That's what I started as. So it was Eats by Emily, and then it's hard to explain, but three vegetables in a row. And, she made it on Canva, so she didn't, draw it or paint it or anything like that. But not to say I'm not still grateful for it, right? But I'm saying, it's pretty, pretty simple and basic. But I took that the three veggies and I put that on the hat because I love kind of the merging of all the worlds and all of the things. And so I have these hats now, but my issue with hats is they don't fit me. My head is too big. I've never been able to wear hats. And it's always really bummed me out because I love the look of a baseball. Like, I love baseball caps. Like, I just love that look. But I guess maybe it was a year and a half ago, I bought a hat from Peloton and it actually fit me. And I think the hat itself is called dad style. Like, there's different like trucker hats, there's different styles of baseball caps, and this one was dad style. So I need to find a website that allows me to make customized baseball hats that are dad style. So if anyone knows, Vistaprint is the website I've been using, and it's a little limited. I really want to put something on the back of the hat, like Whole with Emily or something, and they don't let me do that. So I'd like to get more creative here, but long story short, I am going to be doing a giveaway. And because these hats say let's eat, and I'm really interested in drawing more traffic to the podcast, I'm probably going to do a giveaway for the podcast. So stay tuned for that. I'll probably announce it next week at some point. And what it's going to include is a baseball hat that says let's eat. It's going to be a gift card. And it's also going to be a few of my favorite wellness products. So I'm going to do probably a couple different winners because I have a couple, many hats. And I'm very excited for this. So stay tuned for that. Next, let's talk about functional testing. I am in the midst of my consults for testing, and I am so excited for this. I think I haven't stopped talking about it for months now, but now it's finally underway. I'm getting people, excited about it. We're talking about the specifics of it. I'm sending onboarding paperwork. So it's really been a lot of fun this week because I feel like it's been a long time coming that I've been planning and I've been preparing and I've been moving through this program. But I'm just looking forward to diving into this work, being able to really expand the help that I'm able to offer. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, there is an exclusive discount for podcast listeners. So all the details are in the show notes for clarification to gain access to this discount. But as we move through the month of July, that will be a standing discount for anyone who might be interested. And speaking of July, all of our episodes for Let's Eat in July are going to be lab centered. So we're going to be talking about gut health. We're going to be talking about hormone health. We're going to be talking about liver health. I'm going to be talking about different labs and what they show and why they're important and why they might be valuable for you, different symptoms and different experiences, and how we can utilize labs to better understand them. So I am so excited. How many times an episode do I say that? I'm so excited, but I am. I'm so excited. I think this is going to really help to expand and clarify on testing as a whole. And this is an opportunity for me to direct focus to the podcast for anyone who might be interested in testing to say, okay, you want to learn more about testing? Awesome. I can tell you all the things, and I can also offer you, 5 podcast episodes for you to go listen to so that you can better understand what exactly it is. And maybe you're listening right now and you've been a listener of mine and you still don't really fully understand what exactly it is, or maybe you have specific questions. Now, if you have specific questions, I'm going to leave a box on this episode. So please feel free to submit questions or DM me on Instagram or email me, whatever the case is, and I can cover those questions in the episode. But I might do like a Q&A on functional testing and then those specific topics moving forward, and really just breaking it down in a digestible way so you can understand the connection. A big part of the testing process is that clinical correlation piece, which means I'm taking the lab data and I'm synthesizing that with your reported complaints. So I really strive to educate so that you completely understand this is the dysfunction, whatever that looks like, and this is why you're feeling this way. Because there's no better validation, first and foremost, than getting that clarification of like, there's a reason for this. Because I think a lot of people are not getting that from their doctors. They're not getting that validation. They're feeling like they're crazy, or everything looks normal, or everything's fine. And they're like, but like, I'm not fine. Like, I'm literally not fine. And unfortunately, I feel like this is predominantly found in the female population. And that's a problem. Lab work coming back and saying everything's fine, but you don't feel fine. It's not fine. There's still something there. And luckily with functional lab work, a lot of this dysfunction can be identified and looked at because it's the gray area that we're looking at as opposed to just looking at, the surface level or trying to find disease, which is essentially mostly what traditional conventional lab work does. So I'm so excited. This is a whole new world, but the podcast is going to be dedicated in the month of July to really expanding. Tallow has joined. Tallow has joined the chat. Hello, Tallow. I was going to do a video episode today, actually, and I was going to have her join me, but maybe next week I will do that so you can see how big this maniac has become. It's insane. It's so sad. Every single day I cry. I don't cry, but I think about crying because she's so big and it's so sad. But anyways, so that is coming in July. Any questions for me, please let me know. This is so important, and I want you to really understand how this could be beneficial for you. Now, you have your own individual circumstances, right? So I don't know if I'll be able to cover every single specific thing about every single person, of course, but I plan to really articulate this is what we look at, and this is more commonly what we see in individuals when there's dysfunction in these areas, right? And like I said, that is the goal. The goal is for me to sit down with you and really give you that connection, that correlation, so you can say like, I feel this way because this is what's going on, and this is where the effect is being, it's manifesting in, my sleep quality or in my energy levels throughout the day or my digestion. I'm bloated. I have acid reflux. My periods are painful, whatever the case might be. And as a result of that, we can find those healing opportunities. That's what it's called, right? Looking at the imbalances, the dysfunction, and identifying them as healing opportunities, and then being able to resolve them through a very tailored, specific, personalized protocol. So I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. So I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled for this series, and I hope that you are too. So, in other news, I did total my car on Memorial Day. I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast yet. So, I have a new car, and I'm very happy with the new car. I wasn't ready to necessarily get rid of my old car. I love my old car, but these things happen, and all is okay. But it was a little bit of a moment at the end of the month, last month. And now I have a new car. So I have a new dog and I have a new car. So 2025 is all about novelty, clearly. And it felt harder, I feel like, to have to let go of my car, I guess, because I felt like it was like one thing that I had of Lou left, and like her fur. And I don't know. I don't know if this sounds weird, but I have so many memories with her in that car. Like, she probably was the most frequent passenger with me. In fact, I really never had passengers. So I just am so sad because I had to say goodbye to my car, and I felt like it was just too soon with losing her. So that was a weird moment in time. I think I also just have a hard time with change as it is. So it was weird I had the car for 7 years, and it was kind of like abruptly taken from me. So sad to see it go, but very happy with my new car. I did get a RAV4, which is what I drove before, and also the car that I started driving in. So I like sameness, and I felt comfortable in the car. This one's a newer model, so it's a little bigger and a little bit more of a SUV than the last, but all is well, all is okay. Car is mine now, and very happy to have it, very happy to be safe. And here is to new memories. So, anyways, nextly, summer plans are pretty minimal. I'm really just focused on testing and what this means for me professionally without going into too much detail, trying to make transitions in my professional world. And so I want to really focus on this area specifically with my business and the podcast and all the things whole with Emily, in full function, and so on. So that is my primary focus for the weeks to follow. I can share more down the line, but for right now, we'll keep things at that, and that is the plan for the summer. One of my best friends was over last night, and we were talking about how we don't have really much going on this summer as far as like plans go or travel. And it's so funny. I said to her, I said, yeah, people ask me like, do you have any travel plans for the summer on vacation, any vacation? And I was like, no. And I'm like, why would I do that? I'm totally okay with not doing anything. And that's it. And I'm fully content with staying home and maybe doing obviously day trips down the shore and whatnot. But for the most part, just staying local. If anything, I might end up spontaneously flying out to Michigan. My mom is going to be out there with my sister and maybe my brothers next month. So, or this is coming out in July. So this month, but that is to be determined as far as travel goes. I certainly will not be driving to Michigan anytime soon. I'm traumatized by Route 80 in middle of nowhere, Pennsylvania, for the fact that there are deer in abundance, and I just simply cannot do it. But I do that's what I did over the Memorial Day weekend. I do like to drive. I feel better driving. I like having my car. I like being in control. I hate airports. I hate dealing with travel. But, 10 hours is a lot. So yeah, that probably won't be happening again anytime soon, especially given the fact that I wrecked my car. But I might end up flying for just a couple days in a few weeks. So we will see. But other than that, my focus is really on the business and doing what I have to do there. And creating strategy and just seeing the long-term vision of how can I make this sustainable for working for myself full time. So you can infer what you want from that statement, but that's essentially the goal. That's the plan. That's the goal. That is what I'm really, really nailing down. Not only obviously doing the work and working with clients and doing the testing and so forth, but also being very strategic from a financial standpoint and from a business standpoint about what what does the next year look like? What does the next 2 years look like? And what do I need to do strategically in order for me to feel comfortable and for it to be sustainable for me? Next, I've kind of been taking a little bit of a hiatus from working out with Peloton. I have Peloton, I have the app, I have the bike. I certainly do much less cycling than what I did when I first got it. Now I predominantly do strength and I like the meditation, so I'll do the meditations, especially going to bed at night. But since I've been teaching so much, even within the past 2 weeks, I've taught like 5 or 6 classes each week. And my body is just so tired. Like, I'm so tired. And that's not like an average week, but it's really messing with me and my ability to also do my own workouts alongside the work I'm doing in class. And so I'm trying to find a healthy balance here and I'm trying to create some sort of rhythm so that I'm able to still do the things that I want to do, like more weight training, strength training, but also not exhaust myself. And that's a very challenging place to be, because I don't really know what that looks like, and every week might look differently. And so I've kind of taken a little bit of a break, and I'm honestly thinking about pausing my Peloton membership for the summer just because I'm really not cycling, and the strength training I can do on my own if I decide it, but even then I'm only doing it like once, maybe twice a week, and it's just not worth it to me personally, at least at this point in time. Maybe come the fall or the winter when things get cooler and I'm inside more, that might be something, I will likely reinstate my membership. But for right now, it's been like a weird, I don't really want to do it. And I'm not doing it as much as I used to. And so that's kind of where I'm at as far as exercise goes. Teaching has obviously been great and I love it. And I'm so thankful for it. And I've been walking a ton. I told you I have a step count. I'm pretty sure I told you I have a step count goal for the month of June. So I've been ebbing and flowing with that. Last weekend, I went down the shore to celebrate some of my girlfriend's birthdays and walked, I think it was like 20,000 steps. And then on Saturday, I taught a class. I had to bartend a wedding, also hit like 17,000. I mean, last weekend I'm still recovering from last weekend. Like, I am, I just jam packed the weekend well beyond my capacity, and my step count reflected that. But then into this week, I taught 2 classes Monday. I taught a class Tuesday morning's class. I woke up and I was like, oh my God, how am I going to teach this class? How am I going to teach this class right now? I was just like, my body just felt so tired. And I was so excited for the next day to be able to take a rest day because, it's just a lot. It's a lot. And it's not to say that I have to take the whole class with everyone, but I do end up taking probably, at least 65% of it, so it's not the whole class, but I'm still demonstrating, I'm still, active. And so that's kind of the update there as far as fitness goes. I'm trying to find like a healthy balance. And I think for right now, Peloton is just not a priority because I'm teaching as much as I am. And honestly, I've just been loving walking and there's just no attraction to Peloton. Like even when I'm doing a Peloton workout, I'm only giving like half my effort. So it's just not something I'm drawn to. My body's tired. And I think for right now, it's just better to take a break. So, other than that, Tallow has been great. She's kind of grinding my gears right now. I gave her a full carrot stick, so she's distracted by that. But she's a maniac, but puppies are maniacs. It's been a lot of fun to support her differently as far as training and just learning as much as I have learned about holistic pet care. I actually have the recipe book next to me that is complementary to or supplementary to the Forever Dog book that I've been summarizing. And I haven't really gotten a chance to sit down and pull from this. So I think I'm going to do this in the next week and I'm going to start sharing the recipes on Instagram about what you can be creating and making as a meal topper, as a snack, as a treat, as a snack. As a snack for your dog, as a snack, as a treat, as a way to nourish them and give them more nutrition. What I encourage you to do is to just start sharing what you're feeding yourself. Like, obviously, there are limits, and you want to be sure you're not overdoing it and you're moderating it and you're not giving them something that's toxic or poisonous or whatever for them. But everything else, like produce and so forth, I share with her. Now, I have to be very strategic in terms of how I share with her because if I'm giving it right from my plate or I'm standing in the kitchen preparing and I'm just handing it to her, then she gets a little whiny and thinks that she deserves it every time I'm standing there. So I have to kind of walk away from where I am and give it to her. But I have been sharing with her everything. I've been giving her so much of what I eat and I've been adding it to her food, even food I don't finish. I'll just add to her plate, that's it's not like I'm going out of my way for like major additional expense to provide for her. Like I'm not. I'm just giving her some odds and ends of what I'm not eating or what's left over, or I cut up bell peppers and I didn't add all of them to my eggs, so I'm going to give them to her, right? Like things like that. And that can go a long way. That can go a very long way. So, another episode showcasing holistic pet care is coming. Like I said, we're moving through July with a new series, so probably beginning of August. But there's so much left to talk about, so much left to be learned. And I mean, even for me, like I've really kind of just nailed down some basics, but there's more I want to offer her and do with her that I learned from the book and that I think will be really, really powerful on her health. So stay tuned. More to come on holistic pet care. So usually at this point, I will go into what I'm reading. I don't think I've opened a book in like many weeks, and I'm so bummed out about it because I love to read, but I think between Tallow and just getting my act together with testing and the certification, and I just have been nonstop. And it's sad because I love to read. And now that I've kind of stepped away from it, I feel like I've lost my flow with it. So moving into July, I really want to get back to that because I love it both in the morning and before bed. So, really being intentional because I do have plenty of books that I am waiting to read, and it's no good. This is no good. I love doing it. And I think with Tallow, it's just before I put her into her crate before bed, it's already late enough that then I get into bed and I'm going to bed. I've been going to bed later, which has been messing with me. So I'm not interested in reading necessarily. So July goal is to read more and set more time aside for that because I do have a couple books that I have either made my way through and haven't yet finished, or I need to start, and they're not going to start themselves, right? So so I have to get going on that. Let's talk about what I'm loving lately. So, warmer mornings, I said that before. I'm really excited to start going to the farmers market. I may have mentioned this on the last episode. I now teach Pilates at 9:45 on Saturday mornings, and so it'll be a lot of fun to be able to either go before or afterwards. and probably afterwards is my guess. But I love the farmer's market and I really want to work towards buying as much as I can from the farmer's market and not buying from ShopRite. So that is a new goal for the summer. And obviously, we're already almost into midsummer, which is wild. But that is the plan moving through the next several weeks, is to kind of find a rhythm with that and make that more of a priority because I love shopping there. I love going there. I can't wait to bring Tallow. I haven't brought her yet. And that's the plan. So warmer mornings, it just reminded me because I have memories of last summer and the summer before going to the farmer's market and it was like already 90 degrees at like 9 a.m. And I love that. Like that gives me so much life. And the fact that I don't work Saturdays anymore at the restaurant, I can do that. And that's what I wanted. And I wanted to be able to go to the farmer's market and I haven't gone. So shame on me. Let's go do that. That is the plan. Next, walking. So I have been walking a ton. Obviously, I have a step count that I have been trying to reach, and it's just become such a critical part of my day. Not only with training Tallow how to walk on the leash, but also just taking breaks and resetting and kind of getting some clarity. I listen to podcasts on walks. I do my best thinking. I plan. I write my notes in my notes app, which I love my notes app. I could not live without my notes app. I just thrive when I walk. So walking has become so much a part of my day. And that is what I'm loving. Hard stop. Like, that's all I have to say is walking. I just love walking. I'm so excited about it. I remember back in January when I was in Florida, I talked about how much I was walking. I was walking so much. I was taking my client calls on walks every day because there was nowhere to be, right? So I'd go for like 5 mile walks in Florida in the warmth, in the sunshine. And I remember thinking, I cannot wait for it to be like this in New Jersey because I'm going to do this all the time. Now, not doing 5 miles, but still walking plenty. And it's so life giving. And I highly, highly recommend it. So, what else am I loving? I don't know. I'm just loving this time in business. I'm feeling very inspired with my content. That might sound super lame and cheesy, but I really am. Like I feel like I'm really establishing myself and creating more quality content on Instagram, on TikTok, and I just know the value of the reach that I can have, and that's obviously from a business standpoint, that's the goal. So TikTok especially, but just in general, like giving out free value is incredible. I actually had a message from a client, not a, okay, I totally just misspoke there. I had a message from a follower who said she's local to me and she might even be listening right now and I appreciate you. But she was so supportive when Lou was sick and it was so nice to have her in my DMs just checking in and just being so sweet. And she said to me that she lost, I believe it was 15 pounds just based on what I share on Instagram. I have not worked with this person. I've never met her, right? And the fact that she said to me, I have lost 15 pounds just based on what I share, like, that's insane to me. That is insane. And it's not that I'm surprised because I know what I'm sharing is valuable. And if, you take it and you apply it, it can make incredible change in your health and your weight, whatever the case might be. But I'm not even working with this person. And she's reporting that she's lost weight just because I'm offering all this free value. And that is the goal. I want to share every bit of information that I possibly can, whether it's through the podcast, through Instagram, through TikTok, whatever the case might be, so that you have all the tools to best support yourself. Now, there's a different level of support and accountability and tailoring that takes place when we work together. However, if you take a look at what I'm sharing and if you apply it, there can be success there. And that's always the goal. The goal is to always offer free value. That has been the goal since day one. And I just wanted to celebrate that because I feel so grateful that I've made an impact in someone's in that way, kind of like an indirect way, right? Like she's just absorbed what I shared. I'm just sharing because I want to talk about these things and I'm excited about them and they might be helpful, but just knowing that someone is taking it and applying it, that makes me so happy and it really inspires me to keep doing it. So I just wanted to share that because I feel like content over the years has kind of ebbed and flowed. And for me, I do enjoy doing it. And sometimes I share and I feel like nobody sees it and nobody cares. Actually, feel that way more often than I don't. And social media is tough, but it's so much fun for me, and I'm just going to continue to share. So if you haven't followed me on Instagram or TikTok, go ahead and follow. TikTok especially, there's a lot of tallow content on there. This girl, she's I have a blanket in her bed, one of Lou's old beds in her crate, and she just like likes to pull it out of the crate. And I don't understand why. And she doesn't do a good job at it. She's like struggling to pull it out. Or whatever it's gonna keep her distracted, that's fine. But like I don't understand why she like you don't want that in there? Okay, that's fine. But like, all right, there she goes. Anyways, follow me on social media. I love to share, and I'll continue to share not only there, but obviously on the podcast as much as I can so that you can support your health, regardless of whether or not you decide to pursue testing, work with me one on one. There's still so much to be learned. So, I also tend to talk about wellness trends that I'm loving and different things that maybe I've tried or like that I'm into, that I'm not into. I think just generally speaking, I just like the revolution that's taking place around health. Now, don't get me wrong, this is not meant to be political and it's not meant to talk about what's going on in that arena. I do think that there is value coming from the shifts that are taking place, even small but powerful shifts and heading in the right direction. But not even that. Like that aside, I think just the awareness that's being brought to health is so exciting and so important and so needed. And I think the waking up to our healthcare and the brokenness of it, and even as I move into the functional, testing space, how I can educate people on how these labs are different from what you might get at your doctor's office, and just the experiences that a lot of these people are having when they're coming to me and we're talking about testing. And usually this is not their first line of defense, right? Like this is not the first visit, this is not the first route that they're taking. They've gone through a lot to get to a place where they're like, I need to try something different. And so that's where this work can be so valuable because it is different and it's going to provide you something that you've never seen before. But it's never their first option. It's always, oh, I went to the doctor, I went to see this specialist, I did this, that, and the other thing, and I wasn't able to get results or I wasn't able to get the clarification, the validation that I was looking for. So as far as like what I'm loving and I'm seeing is just the explosion in the awareness around health and how much we are expanding our understanding and seeing beyond what we've culturally kind of all adopted as a result of just being American and living in our system for as long as we have. So, really grateful for that and excited to see what the future holds. I might be biased, but I do believe that functional health is the future. I do believe that, or at least it's going to be a greater complement to traditional medical care because there's a lot of value to Western healthcare. Don't get me wrong. They know how to address, acute emergencies or acute injury. They know how to utilize medication properly, right? And in the functional health space, there can just be a beautiful merging of the two to really optimize somebody's, results, somebody's ability to get better, preventative care, all that. So that is something that I feel like is really exciting that I'm seeing, and maybe because I'm in this space, I'm seeing more of it. Maybe you're not seeing as much of it, but I think we are heading in a direction, and especially because of the fact that this is now being brought on a larger scale. People can feel what they want about RFK and what he's doing, but I think if we're looking at it neutrally and we're looking at it in the sense of what he's trying to do for the sake of health, I think we can all celebrate that. Maybe he has feelings that rub people the wrong way and maybe his beliefs and whatnot, but I think overall his energy being directed towards this cause is what we need because there's just so much brokenness and so much dysfunction and corruption that's going on. And so no matter who it would, like at the end of the day, no matter who it was, they would face backlash. And that's just the way it is because, anything political is going to be controversial. Anything political, there's going to be sides, and that's just the way it goes. But in order to seek change, there has to be this more like it has to be seen on this greater platform. It has to be a political issue, right? In order for there to be change, because there's only so much power one person can have unless they're in a position of power. if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So looking forward to seeing what this brings and what changes evolve as a result of it. But other than that, this is really, this is the update. This is the scoop. I am staying in my condo for another year. My lease is up July 1st. So excited. I'm very happy here. I am, very comfortable. I love it here. I really love it. So I have no reason to leave. And that's that's the scoop. That's what I have for you. I'm really excited for the remainder of 2025. I just feel like there's a lot in store and I just feel so revived, honestly. Like I just feel like I have such new energy with this change in my business, and I'm excited to really transition into this fully and do testing. And I will certainly still offer holistic health coaching and functional nutrition work because that's still valuable and I love that. And maybe testing isn't for everyone, but really, really putting my energy into in full function and the work I'll be doing here, continuing with Pilates and really trying to grow the podcast. That's definitely a goal of mine. I really am hopeful to grow it because obviously I love doing it and I'd love for it to be a more primary part of my work and my career. So, speaking of that, if you would be open and willing to subscribe, rate, review, do all the things for Let's Eat, that would mean everything to me. That is a really valuable way to support the show. Sharing episodes to your Instagram, to your Facebook, to your social media platforms, that is also a way to expand reach and to share the show with other individuals. And that would mean so much to me, so much to me. I don't think you understand how much that would mean to me. So if you are open and willing to do that, please do. That is hugely supportive of the show and the growth of the show. And that's really a big goal of mine moving into the second half of 20. Sorry, I'm literally battling tallow right now. I've really lost any energy to edit things out as much as I used to because why would I do that? This is life. This is what's going on with life. And also, I'm going to get back to video episodes. I said that, I think I said to you, like, I started season 2 the week that Lou was diagnosed with cancer, and then February was a mess of a month, and then, just moving into March and getting my head on straight and getting episodes out was a priority, but I really miss that, and I love being able to do videos, especially for YouTube, because that's another way to share the podcast. So video episodes will be here. I promise. I keep saying this, but I promise they will be here and they will return and they will be here to stay because I have a platform for it. I have a software for it and I do enjoy doing it. And then I can show Tallow when she's not misbehaving and I will, you'll be able to see her and see how cute she is and how big she is. And she'll join us for the episode. So thank you for tuning in. It's always so much fun to record Let's Eat Family Dinner. It's really just me talking and you listening for, I guess that's all episodes, right? But me just kind of talking about what's going on and what's the latest. And usually I'm sharing more on the podcast than I am on social media just because it's longer form content. And I want this to be a space that I'm able to do that, where I'm talking a little bit more openly about things and maybe how I'm feeling and what's been going on and all that good stuff. So thank you for allowing me to do that. Thank you for tuning in every week. If you are a regular listener, it means everything to me. And I am so excited to see where Let's Eat will go. I've had it now for a year and a half, which is wild. And I am proud to say that I have consistently released an episode every Tuesday for that year and a half. And one thing about me, okay, let me just say this. I don't know if I've said this before. But I am an avid podcast listener, and when my favorite shows say I release episodes every Monday or every Tuesday, every Wednesday, I expect there to be an episode, okay? I expect there to be an episode. And when there's not an episode, I get upset. Yes, maybe something happened, maybe something went wrong, okay, understood. But when there's inconsistency in these releases, and I go on my shows sometimes and it's been like 3 or 4 weeks since they've released an episode, I get bummed out. I love I love to listen to my shows and I love to hear new episodes, and when there's not consistency, it really disappoints me. So, the one thing I vowed to do as a podcaster was to maintain consistency and stick to my word of every Tuesday there will be an episode. So, mark my words. If there is no episode, then something drastically went wrong and you have to check in on me, okay? Not to be negative here, but there will always be an episode because I know how much I look forward to episodes by my favorite podcasters, and I'm hoping that there's someone out there that feels the same way about about that seat. I'm being a little confident here, right? Maybe no one cares. Maybe no one even thinks about it. I don't know. But this is how I feel. I'm very committed to the podcast shows that I listen to, and when there's not an episode on the day that they say there is, I get disappointed. So I said, you know what? As a podcaster, this is the one thing that I will commit to, is never missing a Tuesday. So you can rely on that. Mark my words. Every Tuesday, there will always be an episode. No matter what, I will make it happen because I want to be consistent and I want to show you that I'm committed to this and that how I love it. I love it so much. So I'm grateful to be here. I hope that you are enjoying Let's Eat. And until next time, be well.